thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Bob, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan set that I have plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. So we are looking here at almost said Weapon X. Marvel Comics presents 78, 79, and 80 by Barry Windsor Smith, covering the Weapon X area. I have all these issues. They are in beat up condition. Yes, I know that they're sort of spendy to get, but it is what it is. I got these when I was in high school, and I read them over and over again. I didn't really read them per se as much as I looked at this beautiful art. I don't think the story itself is that riveting. And actually, to be honest, the story itself could have probably been done in 30 issues. However, and I do mean this with a big disclaimer, the art is so good that it I am glad that he did it in as many issues as it took him, because the art is absolutely beautiful. So here we go. So as you remember in the previous video, Wolverine was left outside in the freezing cold. So now they brought him inside and they are checking him out. A lot of this is just jargon of kind of, like I said, it probably could have been mostly a wordless issue with just a little bit of words in there. But they are, of course, grafting all the, they've been putting in the adamantium. They've been doing this. They're trying to make him into essentially what he is, a weapon here. And so we have Cornelius here and the professor, who I am quite sure is made to look like Xavier. So they put Wolverine. They have he can be controlled for 3 miles. And so here he can only be controlled for 3 miles, but he wanted 10-mile radius. And Cornelius lets him know, I know that, but the batteries are just way too heavy. I don't know why we couldn't stayed with the on-off system. We didn't need batteries for that, he asks. And the professor says, I will have my way on this, Cornelius. A 10-mile radius. And Cornelius is like, okay, load him down, see if I care. You can turn him into a traveling radio station if you like. And the professor is like, your dissent is noted, doctor, but let's not be testy. And he's like, whatever. And so they're going to be preparing now Wolverine. This is what I mean. Look at this art. And I always compliment the color, which Barry Windsor Smith does. I love his use of white. I love the fact that he blends some, just his hues. He uses different colors. He it's like just a work of art in itself here. The skin tones that he uses, the whole shebang. So, all right. So, and here you can see Wolverine's coming around here, and the professor says, "Good God, he's coming around." And Cornelius is like, "Don't get jumpy, Professor. We have to keep him floating so we can trace the relay flux in his nervous system." And they're like, "Do you mean he's conscious?" says the professor. And you can see Wolverine. Yeah, partly. Add 2 Pheno B staff. Yes, doctor. So it doesn't even name it, just calls them staff. So again, look at the coloring. A little bit of yellow. But just Barry Windsor Smith. I admire brave and um how he does this. I bet you that uh, he's so brave. I'm terrified of doing these things like this in my own art. And this dude, I bet you he just goes, okay, here, some white here and some, it's just beautiful here. So anyway, the professor keeps asking, so he can feel what we're doing to him? And Cornelius, like, most of it, yeah. Poor geezer's in a lot of pain. And so uh, the professor is like, pain is a principle of life, Dr. Cornelius. Yeah, sure, says Cornelius. Not that I subscribe entirely to the dictum here. And you can see Wolverine and he's asking Hines, the lady, for the readings, and she's like, sensory cortex monitor is overloaded, sir. There are no readings. And Cornelius is like, poor geezer. So, all right. Look at this here. Is this not amazing? So this is what they're putting in on him so that he can get, so they are able to give him 9 miles. So he's got to have all this to be able to be controlled. That's what he wants. He wants complete control over Wolverine. Again, look at the whites. Not very many people did this, and Barry Windsor Smith did, and that's what made a lot of. If you look at the comic books that were done, it was all straight coloring. So the flesh tone would just be the entire thing. There wouldn't be any. And Barry Windsor Smith is the one who started with adding different things, even like little blues. No reason. There's no reason there should be a blue here. He just does it. It's just amazing here. So the professor is a little pissed that he doesn't get the full 10, and then he's complaining. And the control console here, it isn't from my design. And Cornelius is like, you wanted extra power, sir. We had to modify. Staff, show the professor the layout of your top board. So I love that, staff. So he's trying to explain the controllers here to the professor, and then Cornelius says, why don't you show him? I like it. Staff. It's a way to not have to give more names, is essentially what it is. So anyone can say something. So and so he's showing him and doing the claws thing. And Cornelius is like, the professor's like, I got the idea, staff. And your entertainments are entirely out of place. And he's like, sure, because he was doing Little Piggy, and then he does it's kind of like the middle finger, but instead of doing the middle finger here. And the professor's like, I hardly need instructions to operate my own devices. Yes, I see. Watch. And the Cornelius sees him and just smiles. You can see a smile on his face here. And the professor is trying to control Wolverine. And they all laugh here. Not Cornelius, so he's looking here. And the professor's like, shut up, blast you all. Cornelius, your staff are fools and ignoramuses. Just using big words here. Here again, look at the color. He could have done just the blue, but decided, hey, let's add a little yellow for the light. And so Cornelius dismisses the staff. Is like, just go take a break. And the professor is just like, yes, get out, buffoons. So, and the professor's like, never been so insulted. And Cornelius is like, line up, Professor. They did a good job. You got what you wanted. Here, have this. And what say we call it a day, huh? And the professor's like, no, the experiment isn't over, Cornelius. I have to know if it's safe. He's safe. He's wired and shut down. Let it go, Professor. If I'm safe, you fool me. Logan tried to choke me to death, remember? And he's like, look, when the power is on, you got him by the tail. When it's off, like now, he's just dead meat. You wanted that, you got that. But you have to be sure, right? Then go spit in his eye. Then you can be sure. I've had enough of the circus for one day. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll send the Wranglers to clean up the mess, and leaves him with the professor, who just looks at him here. And he gets his hot cup of coffee and splashes it on Wolverine's face and just looks. When I was smaller, I thought he was looking at him with one eye, but it's the coffee drop there. And you can see it now as it goes, and the professor just stares. So now we are at 79, and this is a John Byrne story here that he did with Sunspot. And John Byrne during this period was using a lot of zipitones and duotone boards during this time in the early 90s. And you can see that a lot during his Namor run. So here we go, the cover. Nice cover. During Marvel Comics Presents, the person did both the front cover and the back cover. But in this case, Barry Windsor Smith only did the front cover featuring Weapon X. So they're having him do a test again. He's naked in the cold, and he's approaching a target. And they got cameras here looking at him. Again, the coloring is just superb here. A lot of, this doesn't really matter here. He's just giving you words here. And what it is, it's a grizzly bear. I don't think it's the best grizzly bear that I've drawn, but we're not here for Barry Windsor Smith to draw grizzly bears. And they have Wolverine basically kill this poor bear for just because it's always animal testing. And so again, it looks like a monkey almost. So he then has the claws retract, and the professor's like, but do we have the weapon in control, Doctor? That is what we plan. And Cornelius is like, I don't know. Bring Logan in, boys. I just think that with a little more psycho. And then he interrupts. You can see that here. No more psycho this and that. I want action now. And Cornelius is like, action? Chopping a grizzly into bloody pieces isn't enough action for you? And the professor is, I didn't create this weapon to be some imbecilic game warden, Cornelius. Yeah, so what are you saying here? Real quick before I move on, again, the coloring. Look at the different, like a grayish, a really bright, the white, the blue, purple. Oh, just amazing stuff. So the professor is like, Logan is ready. And the Cornelius is like, no, we need more time to work out the kinks in the system. And the professor's like, the great test, Doctor. What's the most dangerous game of all? He questions, ponders. A Bengal tiger with a stick up its... Man, of course, man. Yeah, well, we don't have any in stock right now. Then we'll have to get some, won't we? Sir, you're not serious, of course. On the contrary, I'm deadly serious. And that is true. You want to see what your person does? You got to put him against people that are able to shoot back. So, do you know what you're saying? Says Cornelius. I always know what I'm saying, Cornelius. So I'll brook no arguments. I will be in my control room. And he's like, but... And he's like, all right. So, the guy here says, the professor said to remove the dome but keep him wired on points. So we should leave the batteries on. Yeah. And set in the alarm, right? I guess so. And the Cornelius is like, I don't know about this, Heinz. I don't like the sound of this right now. It's like first I'm told we're creating some kind of super soldier from Experiment X. Then it turns out he's some sort of mutant animal thing. Then the adamantium bond sends him cuckoo. But the professor takes me around, pulls me into his game. Got sucked in good there. I know it, and she's just working through this here again. Real quick, just want to point out the white. He just uses white, which is just so different than everybody else here. And Cornelius is like, I got virtually blackmailed into this whole affair, you know? No, you don't know. But it's like, what's this thing gonna do? Is the weapon gonna protect us from the commies or something? And Hines is like, why don't you take your coffee break, John? Now, John. Um, and he's like, I'm on duty till 6 beans, like some kind of assassin. And Hines is like, take a break, John. And she just kind of looks at him, and so off he's gonna go. So she's, for the first time, kind of being bossy. I'm not too large in soul searching like that, but I've got some responsibility stuff, you know. I ain't got murder inside me, Hines. Not like the professor. Right. That's got it. Set the alarm now. Oh, sorry. This is someone else. Okay, so we're gonna skip this part here. And so the you can see Wolverine takes out his claws, and so Hines says, "If you need me, Doctor, I will support you in anything you need to do." And suddenly the alarm goes ringing here. Again, just a little bit of yellow to show, highlight, a little bit of white here, but everything else is just essentially the same. And Wolverine puts his claws through this guy here, and suddenly they see the lab and they're like, oh my god. And so Cornelius is calling the professor. The professor is annoyed. And he's like, the Cornelius is yelling at him, "You maniac! How could you? What? You're insane! What?" And he sees Professor X, and he's like, "This is not my doing, Cornelius. I'm not in control. Not in control." And Wolverine is ripping out the door, and suddenly, look at this. Weapon X has escaped. So, these people here now starts to shoot at him, and Cornelius is like, "Sir, how could this have happened? Logan was harnessed up. How could you?" And Hines is like, "It's not over, sir. The tranquilizer's not effective." And they're like, "This is crazy. Can't you do something?" And Cornelius is like, "The system is down. I've got no control over Logan." Then who does? Yes, who indeed? So is Weapon X now on his own? Is he going rogue? And so this part, we're just kind of gonna go through the art in itself here, but they're keeping track of this. A lot of this, as I said, is just kind of um, it's really not needed. It's just talk here. So they're trying to get, basically, they got to find a way to get Weapon X back. Again, just a little bit of this color right here. Barry Windsor Smith just does some great stuff. So here we go. They have their guns posted at him, and suddenly Logan's like growling. And look at this beautiful art. Barry Windsor Smith is masterful. This is just amazing. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So, all right. So, look at this. You can see why this thing sold so well. So, um, look at uh, um, Wolverine almost looks. I wish it would have had a howl. He's not howling, but it would have been great here. And suddenly, Wolverine um, goes through the floor panel here, and the professor's yelling, "Help me, help me!" And they got all these soldiers moving through. This is a beautiful panel here, And look at this. They're like, the security forces are almost there. They should handle it. And so here they go. And there's the professor here. And they grab him. And he's like, he tried to kill me. My glasses, I can't see. So they put him in. And they chopped off his arm. And he's like, kill him. Destroy Weapon X. So, oh my goodness gracious. And so today, this is our last part, number 80. Great cover here. Love the use of blue. There's been a lot, there's a lot of reds and a lot of, and I just love it's like a purplish blue here, and then of course he gives us these little um, rectangles there. So, and this is just little wow. This is so freaking cool. Look at this. This guy's even running away. He's like, this is a massacre. Yeah. And so you see the professor now with his missing hand. And she takes his tie. She's going to make a tourniquet for the professor here. And so they're going to go to an adamantium reactor to be safe from Wolverine here, as he has basically decimated everything that's in his way here. So, and so would this be a nuclear place? Would there be radiation? Because normally this sign is only there. Like you wouldn't go in there if there is stuff inside. So they're like, get in there, bolt immediately. And so he asks for the gun that she's gonna give it to him, and she's like, give it to Cornelius. Because what am I gonna do with a gun? I am missing a hand. So all right, and look at this. This is so badass. This is so absolutely wonderful here. The coloring, this is just spectacular. This is his magnum opus. I don't care. He's done some Conan. Unfortunately, Barry Windsor Smith has been around for decades, but he does not have as big a bibliography for someone that has been in the comic business 40 years or more. He's been drawing forever here. This is cool with Wolverine coming, and this is, in my opinion, his magnum opus. His art is absolutely fantastic. His coloring is spot on. This is the best thing he has ever done. I know that he considers Monster, which just came out a few years ago, to be the best work he's ever done, but I disagree. Monster is pretty good. I mean, it's decent. It's black and white, and it doesn't really show. And then a lot of the stuff he did during Storyteller, um, is pretty good, but the coloring was different. He used new computer coloring, um, which is fine, but the coloring that he did on um, newsprint is, to me, superior, because his creativity is definitely so. As Wolverine is going after them, he finally is in there, and look at this. Cornelius thinks he's about to die, and who knows, he might. But this is absolutely insane. I I suggest you pick up there was a gallery edition that came out, and it is expensive, but if you get a chance to, get the gallery edition. It's spectacular. So this is actually the end of our three issues here, and so here we go. So, Marvel Comics presents 78, 79, and 80. The Weapon X stories included in there, written and drawn by Barry Windsor Smith, which is amazing. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.